This is your WW3 news. Since I've been here in Italy, now and then a murder case, especially involving women with jealous, psychopathic ex-husbands or boyfriends, probably not seeing the warning signs, the writing on the wall to leave these cunts, and they fall victim of the husband or ex-boyfriend being murdered. Every time it happens, there's been a public outcry, public manifestation, parliamentary interrogation to modify the law, make more serious the punishment. And when these cases have no more, how do you say, press coverage or attention from the public, the lights on these cases tend to be switched off and left in the dark. And probably some YouTuber may dig it out and make a video out of it, reviewing the crime itself, what could have been prevented, what did investigators miss out on. No, it's a question of culture and legislation. They say, yes, we're going to make femme homicide a criminal offence, which they did. The problem is, how these cases, which probably hundreds of cases of violence or even murders or attempted murders in everyday life is. I'm going to tell you of a real case. I'm not going to mention the name of this person. She's no longer here for respect of her memory. Nor was she when she told me, it goes, don't tell no one about it. Well, I'm not going to tell no one, I'm not going to mention her name. But mind you, I think it happened in 2017 and 2018 here in Italy, in the area where I lived. There was this chap, obviously he had personal problems, psychiatric problems, alcoholism and stuff like that. And he was behind my friend, which died of breast cancer 2 years ago, poor thing. And somehow she was convinced to be taken in the countryside of Petroli, probably one of these abandoned farms, traditional farmhouses. You do find abandoned, which I thought pieces in the countryside. He was thinking he's going to make it out with her, and she just turned around and refused him. And obviously he went berserk. He started beating her up and tried to strangle her towards the end, which he did manage to do, thank God for that. Somehow she managed to escape. It took her 2 days of courage to report this incident. Casualty. There's a thing which is called Codice Rosa, Pink Code, which is a special institutional pathway when it comes to these type of cases of violence on women. Regarding the police, the Carabinieri, they didn't took it that seriously. They took it pretty lightly, like any other case. Obviously, the social worker didn't give a fuck. And regarding when they went to court, he was taken to court. He wasn't charged with attempted murder. He was charged with grievous bodily harm. And when they went to court, he appeared with his solicitor, and the solicitor, my friend. They done a secret deal. They said, let's close the case here, in the story, just like that. And when she mentioned it to my friend, which is one of those solicitors which the government gives you, and made her with all the charges of this bastard, she turned around and said, listen, you could have free legal aid. Her solicitor was a woman, wasn't a man, therefore you should have more sensibility for dealing with this case. And obviously him being charged of only grievous bodily harm is just a fucking joke. That's how the Italian law works, and how the Italian justice system and the local institution sees the victims. They do not give a fuck. In the end, this person is perpetually drunk, free, God knows what, to take drugs, whatever. They'll probably continue beating up women, using violence, forcing them into sexual relationships against their will. He's walking free around. And they say the institution has a sensibility regarding this case. They do not give a fuck. You know what I said to her? Next time something happens to you, you just cut his knob off. As simple as that. And stick it in his ass. Because these people, somehow on a technicality, they get away with it. And then now and then you hear stories, oh, we have to have more severe convictions and sentences. Yes. But the whole system has to have a more major sensibility regarding this type of criminal offences and its victims. Because in the end, it's them. The victims will become the culprits. And the villains, they get away with it. That's really nice. That's defending women from violence of this hypocritical society.